You're watching the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by Blue Nail Roofing.
And we welcome you inside the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show studios as we get ready for an early edition of the show, because Masai Ujiri will be coming to the podium here shortly to address the departure of former head coach Jason Kidd. It is officially being tabbed as a mutual departure, a mutual decision between Kidd and the Mavs organization for Kidd to move on and for the Dallas Mavericks to find themselves a new head coach. And we will hear from the team president, Masai Ujiri, here in just a couple of minutes to address everything that went into that decision here just a couple of weeks after he was hired as team president, and how he went through the process of coming to this conclusion that this was where they needed to go.
Yeah, we already knew it was going to be a busy offseason for him because he not only has to worry about the draft and then, helping put together the roster based on how it stands now, and now he's adding a coaching search to the mix. So, going to be a busy man, but I think the biggest question people had was, okay, does it make sense to do it now, or did we expect this to come a little bit later on, whether that be like after his whole first season, under this new regime, mid-season if things weren't going well. The fact that they moved so swiftly, I think, tells you a lot about where both parties stood. And to Masai's point, when he said what he said in his opening press conference of, this is a new era, we're going to look at everything from top to bottom. He's making good on his words so far.
Yeah, the dichotomy between his answer about Jason Kidd's future with the team and Kyrie Irving's was night and day. We all pointed it out on the day of his introductory press conference. But additionally, when you look at the other reporting around Tim McMahon right around the same time saying Kidd wanted the team president or was up for it to some degree, which is nothing new for Jason Kidd in his career. He's wanted more power of these organizations, whether it was with Milwaukee or Brooklyn in both circumstances, and he moved on from both in similar fashion to some degree. It's when you have that kind of, even if it's a potential friction point, right? Like, hey, I didn't get that job, but now someone else is in that position. There's always going to be something there. Whether or not that's going to inform the entirety of the decision and how things worked is still up. I'm sure very curious to see what Masai has to say to that degree. But that was part of the rationale heading into this. It's like he wanted to talk with Jason Kidd. Clearly, whatever the results of that conversation were, whether it was one-sided or two-sided, the result is Jason's no longer here.
Mike Leslie, Michelle Montaigne, Andrew Seeley at the big desk, bringing you through the proceedings of Masai Ujiri's press conference as the team president will address the departure of head coach Jason Kidd here in just a matter of moments. And yes, to both of your points, this was kind of telegraphed when Masai Ujiri held his introductory press conference, and he talked about the fact that he was going to need to do this comprehensive evaluation of the organization before he made any sort of decisions in this space. And it just felt like, and Mac Engel of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram followed up with him, like, well, that sounded like you're not really planning on keeping Jason Kidd around. And Ujiri did a nice job of speaking in...
obfuscating.
Delicately.
Yeah, on some level, yeah, probably. To work his way through the answer and not make it a declarative statement that he was doing any one thing, but he left, obviously, the door open for himself to ultimately make this decision. And again, it's being cast as a mutual decision, and I imagine that there is some mutuality here just insofar as Jason Kidd wanted the team president role. We'll go to Masai Ujiri right now. He just sat down at the podium.
We do have our mic runners. We have CK over there. We have Lauren right here. Just ask you raise your hand. Masai's still getting to learn everybody in the market, so please identify yourself and who you're representing. We'll open it up in just a moment. Without further ado, Masai, would you like to kick things off for us?
Yes, thank you. Tough day for us yesterday. Thank you for everybody coming out. Jason Kidd, Hall of Famer. Incredible player. What he's done for this organization, we truly respect. This was a very, very tough decision, and had great conversations with Jason Kidd. Really thank him, his family. I know these things are tough, and I know he'll go on to do great things. And the ultimate respect from the whole organization, from top to bottom. I have to be in this position where we build a basketball program where we align on a direction in which we go, build structure, build a vision here where we all want to work in one direction to build a winning team. And this was a tough decision to make after spending a couple weeks really digging into the operations of this basketball team. We're going to start a comprehensive search for a head coach, and we really look forward to that. And we will start that process. We're going to be intentional. We're going to be really dig into the philosophies of the kind of players we have and how we want to build around a player like Cooper Flag and a dynamic player in Kyrie Irving, the young players we have, and growing in this organization and winning. This sport, this game is about winning, and we all want to focus on this direction. So I thank everybody for coming out. I have to be accountable, like with a decision like this, and I have to also be very, very active in how I look at the whole organization from top to bottom. So I guess I'll open it up to questions.
Great, we'll open up to questions now. I'll call on you. I saw Mac's hands go up first. We'll go to Mac, then to Mike. So we'll go right here to Mac and then over here to Mike. Go ahead, Mac.
What's up, Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star-Telegram.
How you doing?
What did you come to the conclusion of in your conversations with Jason Kidd that you felt ultimately like he was not the best fit for this franchise moving forward?
I think, when you look at, when you gather information, I don't want to put blame on anything that I do in making this decision. And a lot of the conversations I had with Jason, I think will stay between us. For me, it was really thinking about the future of this team, the structure, maybe taking a lot of information, of some of the things that I think were beneficial to build a team, and being transparent with everybody. I think a new slate was a good way to look at this, because I feel sometimes in this organization we needed kind of clarity in where we're going, rather than sometimes lots of things in the mix. We need to really work in one direction, and how we build this team and how we create winning, and that's kind of how I looked at it, just going forward and building winning.
Mike, you're in the front row, then to Christian right behind Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News.
Hi, Mike.
How much did you consult with Cooper Flag and Kyrie Irving when making a decision like this, and what were some of the things they shared with you?
I talked to them, but this decision is not, to be honest, is not on them. I think these guys have incredible relationships with Jason Kidd, and they've communicated well with him. They've communicated very, very well with me, but I think it's very fair to say this decision is on me. I don't want to put that on any player in any way. And nobody else, like in this organization. Me and Mike have to really sit down and look at this organization from top to bottom. That includes talking to players and building a relationship with Cooper, and we've known Kyrie for a while, and there are conversations with them so they feel comfortable. And I have to explain things to all the players, on these decisions that we make. But yeah, this decision is solely here, and I take responsibility for it.
Hey, Miss, I'm Christian Clark with The Athletic.
Hi.
I think the two coaches you hired in Toronto, Nick and Darko, were first-time NBA coaches. How much will previous experience as NBA head coach be a factor in this search, or not be a factor?
Yeah, it's an open search. Like it just happened that at that time we thought these were the best candidates. One of them was in-house, which was Nick Nurse, and the other was first-time head coach with Darko. So I think our minds are very open. We're going to look everywhere. Every stone unturned, turned, and we will really look at what's best for this organization, be it first time, be it experience, be it college, be it European, everywhere. Be it experienced head coach, whatever is best for this organization going forward is what we are going to look at, and it's going to be very comprehensive.
Hi, Masai, Jonah Javai with WFAA.
Hi, Jonah.
Just want to clarify here. So have you spoken with any potential candidates as you get this search going? Are there any guys you have in mind?
I have.
And just to follow up on that real quick, to make this type of decision without having somebody already in place or maybe a couple of candidates, why do you feel like that was a prudent move to part ways with Jason?
Yeah, I've not spoken to anybody. That would be disrespectful, I think. Like to Jason, I would never ever do that to any coach or any in any position that I'll be. I want to make that very, very clear. Like there's not one person that has gotten a phone call from me. And secondly, I think we are confident in what we know. Like it's not my first time, like in this space. We know some of the people out there. You study this. In these jobs, to me, there are things that you have to prepare for every time. It doesn't matter what the situation is, whether it's going good, whether it's going bad, whether you're evaluating. As leaders, we always have to be prepared. And I believe we will be prepared for this.
You said new slate. Was one of the contributing factors in this decision was the fact that Jason had a role in the Luka Doncic trade, and the best way to move forward was to move on from those key figures who were part of that trade?
Honestly, that trade has played no part in how I've thought about, anything. These decisions were made, before. I'm in no position to criticize or blame or even, really investigate, some of the things that happened then. I've said it and I made it very clear. It's something that we have to find healing and move from, and that's my job. I have to be that transition from where we are as an organization, as fans, as media, as anything you want. We have to figure out a way, to slowly move on from this, and I have to hold, myself accountable for doing this. And so, no, it did not play any part, in how I thought about this and making this decision.
Hey, Masai, Christian Clark. Next summer, you guys will owe your first-round pick to the Hornets unless it falls in the top two. Mm-hmm. And, the pick situation, I think after this year, you don't control your own first-round pick again outright until 2031. My question is, how much does the future pick situation, how much you guys discuss that, and how much will that influence kind of the moves you make over the next few weeks and months here as you continue to build around Cooper?
We're going to begin all our strategy meetings and talking about all this stuff, as the draft looms here. Every decision we are going to make here is going to be future-based. Yeah, we have a 19-year-old generational player on our roster, and we have to think, that way. So we're not going to make decisions based on winning today. I don't think that would make sense for the organization. And honestly, while looking at it, what is our future going to look like? What is winning going to look like? How is this organization going to be built? What is the structure? What is the vision? How are we all aligned, moving in the right direction? And it's the whole departments, in this organization, from medical to coaching to scouting to development to everything you can possibly think of. We are, in the last 2 weeks, have continued to really, really evaluate this. Yeah. So everything you've said, I know I've answered it in from a general perspective. We are looking at the future. We have a 19-year-old on this team, that can take us somewhere great. We have to think that way.
Rashad Miller, Dallas Weekly.
How you doing, Rashad?
How you doing?
How you doing?
First off,
how you doing again?
In your introductory pressure, you talked about sustaining winning habits.
Yes.
Just what are some of the other factors you're looking for in a coach, and what are some other personnel changes you may be looking to shift?
Yeah, it's really, what this coach's philosophy is going to be, building around, the kind of players we have, especially, like I mentioned again, a player like Cooper Flag. Everything you look at I think, whether it's discipline, whether it's accountability, whether it's vision, whether it's style of play, has nothing to do with what was going on in the past. These are just things that we dig into. When we look at these kind of coaches, you have to look at how you're adjusting. We've all been watching these games in the playoffs. Yeah, we want to be part of those games. We don't want to watch, we want to play. However, we're being innovative in building our team. This game changes every day. Yeah, that's a fact, and we have to consider that.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
It's Eddie Sefko. Come on, man.
Mavs.com. Is the clock ticking on this hire? I mean, do you have a timeline that you see you want to have somebody on the job in X number of days or before the draft or whatever?
We are going to do a comprehensive search, and get the right person, Eddie. I don't know how long. Sometimes you don't know how long that takes in this whole process. But yeah, the process starts. Our mind starts working. We build this system or way of how we want to figure out a list of prospects or candidates for this, and I don't think there is a timeline right now, but it's something we really want to get done the right way.
And Ron Arad, DLS Sports.
Hi, Ron.
Good nice to see you again, Masai.
Yeah.
It's been reported that Jason Kidd wanted the team president job.
Mm-hmm.
How did that factor into this decision?
No factor. I heard those things. I discussed with Jason, and he was incredibly honest, about those things. And for me, I'll leave those conversations that me and Jason had. But yeah, with me, there's I didn't look at that in every way. I'm comfortable, with what I do and who I am in this position, and the direction I've been given with ownership in where this team should be going. So no, that really didn't play a part to how I was thinking of this, because even if it was the other side where he was staying here, I would have been very comfortable, with Jason, especially after the 2 weeks I had with him. We had an incredible time, really communicated, and came to this decision.
Hi, Mike Ducey, Fox 4. Kind of a follow-up there, I guess. How much influence do you think a head coach should have in terms of player personnel or player acquisition?
I think they should, they should take part in how we select these players, because at the end of the day, they are the ones coaching these guys. We are the ones that do all the work with the background and go and really search on the type of players that we're going to work with. It's not the coach's job. He's focused on the games and winning games. But yeah, I think big decisions, players you bring, types of players you bring, their style of play. Sometimes their personalities, like we have to even bring those, in front of coaches to say, hey, here is all the information about this player, and this is the kind of player he is, or the kind of person, or all the necessary information. So yeah, coach plays a part, but we do the heavy lifting with this. No. Yeah. Who's calling your? Come on, man. Who's calling your iPad, man? FaceTime. I'm kidding, man.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Obviously, Cooper sort of tops the list of what you're building around, but it seemed from our point of view that Jason and Kyrie were a good fit, and I just wonder, from your point of view, how important is Kyrie in this process in terms of, a coach that might help him, be a good fit for him, those kinds of things?
Kevin Durant once told me that there's only one Kyrie walking around in the world. Yeah, I think we have to figure out a way, how Kyrie fits with our program. And I've had those conversations with Kyrie up till yesterday. And I think Kyrie will fit. As I said it before, there's a huge curiosity in our minds to see how Kyrie fits playing with Cooper Flag. He's just that kind of like an incredible talent and player. And I think we owe that organization, we owe this organization that. I'm sorry that it could not happen with Jason Kidd. He has the ultimate respect, I think, for Jason Kidd. I'm not even going to speak for Kyrie and relationship, and I take responsibility for this decision. But my goal is to put him in a place where he's successful here.
There have been reports about Matt Riccardi not coming back. Can you confirm that, and can you address maybe what Michael Finley's role might or might not be?
Yes, Matt Riccardi will not be back. We had this conversation. He's been incredible too in this process. Really helped us get to this point. I think Matt would do great, wherever he goes. I hold Matt's standards here, and I have Mike Schmidt here, and I feel with hiring other people and a couple other people that we'll bring into the organization, I don't want to disrespect anybody to create redundancy or duplication, and we respectfully had that conversation with Matt, and I think he'll be great. He did an incredible job here, especially with the trade, I really acknowledge that, and I think the future is so bright for him, but I did not want to create any duplication here or going forward. So very positive about Matt and him moving forward.
Along the same lines with Jason's coaching staff, do you anticipate any of them returning next year, or is that going to be up to the next coach?
There could be a couple, I think. We've kept a couple coaches who are going to help us with the transition in this period, we have to do that as an organization, and Jason Kidd was aware of that, and this couple coaches are aware of that, and we move forward. This is how these things work. We have to keep this train kind of moving as we go, and that would be, I think, the decision of the new head coach.
Just to clarify, will Michael Finley be back next season?
I'm discussing with Michael, on roles and how he wants to fit in this organization. He has, I think, run a incredible scouting process and department here, and we continue to work with Mike, and we will discuss whatever role, like is appropriate for him, and we all see fit, like going forward if he wants to continue with us.
Two more questions. Jonah?
Hey, Masai, quick two-parter for you. One.
Yeah, the two-part guy.
I just squeeze in the two-parter.
Yeah.
I love two-parters.
Two-part Jonah. That's what I'm going to start calling.
That's fine. Don't make it memorable. No, first off, we haven't really had many public comments from you about your hiring of Mike Schmitz. Can you just kind of detail why you thought he was the right guy to bring into the fold, and maybe your backstory with him, and if you can kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
That guy standing over there, that guy? Do I know
you want to
him?
come up, join us?
Now, Mike Schmitz is an incredible hire for us. Like I appreciate Portland letting us, have him. Not only his work there, but I've worked with him how many years in this league, scouting, like the whole world, and whether it's in Uganda or Russia or Serbia or South America, we've been all over the world. Like together. And I truly, truly appreciate that, because you see the basketball mind, you see the strategy, you see the people relationships, you see the respect, like for an organization, and you see the focus of winning, like the focus on direction. And for me, it was an incredible fit, like because you have to build that in your front office. Whether it's values, whether it's loyalty, whether it's treating our staff, like with respect and setting a tone. Mike has been everything, that with that. He is the GM of the Dallas Mavericks, and we're going forward to win in this organization, and super aligned, super, super happy, like to have him in this organization. So I know I haven't spoken about this, so I appreciate your two-part question.
Ready for part two now?
Yes.
Okay, part two. What are you looking for specifically in the next head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, and how much of an effect do you think Cooper Flagg and Kyrie Irving will play in bringing that head coach to town, just because of their talent and skillability?
Again, when you start describing these things, I want to make it clear to everybody, like people now start putting it on, like the coach that was here before, and they start, it's not that. Yes, I want to make it clear to everybody, it's not about that, like whatever I'm describing.
What you're describing is not, you're not taking a shot at Jason Kidd.
Correct. Like I want to make sure, that people get that right. It's all the things you want in a head coach, like his leadership, his vision, his creativity, his working with people. We have this player here, like I think actually Jason Kidd took one of the biggest risks, like in putting the ball in Cooper Flagg's hands, which ended up being an incredible decision, a great decision to make. So we're looking for all of that, like in a head coach, like we just needed a clean slate to go forward, and so I'm not saying qualities, like that somebody else did not have. Yeah, we want incredible philosophy, coaching style, how you relate to all our players, how you treat this organization, how you move forward in this organization with the mindset, like of winning. Yeah, this is very, very important for us in this person we're hiring. Competitiveness, like you have to be competitive in this league. Are you seeing what's going on? And by the way, two young coaches, like that. Incredible minds, like just fighting for the Western Conference Finals, or on the other side, two experienced coaches, who are fighting for the Eastern Conference Finals. This is what this league has become. Yeah, it's a fight, and we have to learn in here that it's not in here anymore. Yes, I'm going to make that clear and clean, and how we go, like the fight is out there. Yeah, the fight is with those 29 other teams, like that's where we're trying to be playing today. Yeah, we're trying to kick their butts the same way they are kicking our butts. Yeah, the kind of person we're bringing here is that mindset, of trying to win. and moving in that direction. And we're all going to be focused on that. Spoken to your organization, we all have to have a united front and think the same way. And we're going to continue to build this team to think like that. So have patience with us, like we're going to get there, but just know that we're all going to communicate with you, with the fans, with the media, the right way, the appropriate way. Be transparent in how we deal with these things. And I am going to sit here and take responsibilities for any of the decisions we are going to make. It's not about being defensive. It's not about being we're just going to have a vision here that we are going to follow. Yeah, so this is very important for us. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Masai Ujiri walking off the podium after a roughly 26-minute press conference talking about the departure of Jason Kidd as their head coach. A lot to unpack about what he had to say over the course of this last half hour or so. But very clearly, he wants to be deferential and respectful of those who came before him, not just Jason Kidd, but also Nico Harrison. We saw that in his introductory press conference, and that theme was peppered through this press conference as well. But also very clearly, he feels like it is time to move on, to move forward, to divorce themselves from the Luka Doncic trade, even though he won't specifically criticize that. He talks about it as something that they need to heal from and move on from and move toward the future together. And he said, it's my job to be that transition. And we just saw the latest step in that process over the course of the last, whatever it's been, 18 hours or so since we found out about this.
You think about the juxtaposition between the, 24 hours after the Luka Doncic trade was made and the media availability, the press conference, the delivery, the communication that followed in those 24 hours in February of 2025. Compare that to this decision. Obviously, you're not only moving on from the head coach that took this franchise back to not only the Western Conference Finals, but the NBA Finals for the first time since they won their championship. You're talking about a former Rookie of the Year in this organization. You're talking about a guy who means a lot to the Mavericks in Jason Kidd. So for them to make this decision and then handle it professionally, respectfully, the right way by addressing the media in the 12 plus hours after the decision was communicated to the public. I just think that he's doing everything the right way so far to kind of build that new slate that he's been talking so much about.
And whether or not it was part of the decision, because he did address this, I think Mac asked the question on was Kidd's role in the Luka trade even a factor in this at all? Whether it was or not, the end result is the same. You are essentially helping clear some of the trauma out. Whether or not, so again, like intentionality doesn't necessarily factor into how the Mavs fans feel about this move, and that's an important step just in moving on from and bringing them back into the fold.
The two men that were sitting at the podium in Cleveland telling the world about the fact that they had traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers, and now this is what we're going to do going forward, and defense wins championships, and regardless of the level of complicity, if that's even a word, that Jason Kidd had in this trade, people felt that he was. Mavs fans felt that he was. Luka Doncic, clearly, based on their interactions ever since Luka has departed, feels that he was. And honestly, a lot of Mavs fans' opinions are going to be colored by the way that Luka handles the situation. So a lot of Mavs fans feel that he was complicit in this trade. They need a clean slate. And that was, again, he didn't say it specifically relative to Jason Kidd or to the Luka Doncic trade, but Masai Ujiri did communicate that they need a new slate. This is a big, big step toward having that new slate. We will break all of this down in full detail in under an hour, 12 o'clock, right back here on WFA Plus, the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. We'll return and we'll analyze this even deeper. See you then.